Here's how the smartest thief in Memento pulled off a heist under everyone's nose, including us, the audience. The main mystery in Memento is most often considered to be whether Leonard's condition is real or imagined. But surprisingly, there's another story being told here. One in which the side character Natalie brilliantly orchestrates a con by manipulating everyone in the story, including the other con artist, and walking away with $200,000 from the botched drug deal, completely untouched without anyone knowing. So let's recap the sequence of events told chronologically this time. Teddy sets up the drug deal using his law enforcement access to the known criminal, Jimmy. Teddy convinces Leonard to kill Jimmy by planting the idea in Leonard's head over multiple phone calls. Leonard kills Jimmy, takes his clothes, his car, and the bag with $200,000 in the trunk of the Jaguar XK8. And no, I'm not mentioning that because I'm a car nerd and think that's a cool car. It's actually an important detail that will pay off later in the story, as you'll see soon. Leonard could care less about the money, but for Teddy, this is his entire motivation, and it's likely taken him weeks or months of scheming to pull this off. After all, he's using Leonard as a guilt-free wrecking ball for his own financial gain. In the next chronological scene, Teddy follows Leonard to the tattoo shop. He sees the Jaguar parked in front of the shop and tries to get the keys twice. First, he offers to hide the car around back.
What? Well, I guess I just wanted to get something down before it slipped my mind.
Then, he says he needs to change clothes, hoping that Leonard will give him access to Jimmy's pockets, which hold the keys.
Now I gotta get you a new identity, some new clothes, a different car would do for now.
Just a side note, watching this in chronological order is almost like a black comedy, since Teddy is also trying to contain the situation now that Leonard is wearing a dead man's clothes and driving his car all around town, with a picture of Teddy in his pocket. The whole scheme he had in his head just completely backfired, and now he's doing damage control to try and contain the situation. But Leonard doesn't change clothes, and instead sees the coaster from the bar, and sneaks out of the tattoo shop, driving Jimmy's car to go meet Natalie. Natalie instantly deduces that something bad happened to Jimmy, and reveals that Jimmy had told her about Leonard staying at the discount inn, and that there was a cop following him around. Natalie asks if Leonard is Teddy, which shows that she knew about Jimmy's planned drug deal with Teddy, but didn't know that Teddy was a cop. Or knew what his face looked like. Interestingly, she's just as clueless as Leonard is at this point in the story. She says that a cop had come by earlier looking for Leonard, which is obviously referring to Teddy, so this explains why Teddy was late to the tattoo parlor. He went to the bar first to find Leonard. Natalie is not sure if Leonard's memory problem is real. She asks why he came to the bar, and Leonard shows the coaster that was in his pocket. Really, it was Jimmy's. She starts actually thinking that he might not be able to remember anything, so puts him up to the test by spitting in his beer. From her perspective, someone just showed up with her boyfriend's car and clothes right after he went to a drug deal, so naturally she is quite skeptical about Leonard's intentions. This line in particular stands out as maybe a little bit of foreshadowing.
Care to contribute?
No thanks.
It's for a lot of money. Come on, proceeds are going to charity.
And then here we see that Natalie actually shows genuine empathy, or at least what it looks like, to Leonard when he says the last thing he remembers is his wife dying, and she spares him from drinking any more of the spit beer. Instantly in the next scene, we see them drive to her house. And I think here we see Natalie has a mix of sympathy, concern for her own well-being, and greed. Let's get into it. Natalie invites him to stay for a few days, and I think she's already planning to manipulate this in her favor. This is right after she questions Leonard's story about his wife's murder. Her line of questioning is a little strange, because why would she be interested in this random guy's lore? You'd think she would be more interested in where her boyfriend is, if he's even still alive, and what happened during the drug deal. She's also very curious in the cops' involvement in this case of Leonard's dead wife. I think this was her trying to get information on whether Leonard was working with cops or not. That might complicate her situation even more. Then Natalie says she has to go back to work, and leaves for a bit. Now this is entirely speculation, but it seems like this would be the time when Natalie unlocked the Jaguar and found the money in the trunk. Because if she hadn't found the money, she would obviously try and get that information out of Leonard somehow. I always thought it was funny she never asked where the money was, or the drugs. And undoubtedly she would know where the spare key to the Jag is. In fact, this is probably the only reason she brought Leonard back to the house, to get the car there as well. I don't understand any other logical reason for her bringing Leonard back to her house with her. She comes back after some time, although it could have only been a few minutes. She claims that Dodd is already blaming her for Jimmy's disappearance and the missing money. This could or could not be true. She could already be thinking a step ahead and assuming that Jimmy's associates would be suspicious of her. Jimmy's partners think I set him up. She's already hiding the pen and paper, so I doubt her story here. Here it's likely that she's thinking of the worst case scenario of what might happen to her, so there is some truth to this, but I think she's just thinking a few steps ahead for her own gain, or maybe for her own well-being. In this next scene, Natalie asks Leonard to kill Dodd and even offers to pay him. Leonard refuses, of course, but then Natalie takes a different approach and figures out what he would actually kill for. This is all part of her scheme at this point. She's getting him riled up to manipulate him, even saying, "I'm gonna use you." And this is all what leads up to Leonard punching Natalie. She walks out the door having already won, and Leonard is not able to take any notes because she hid all the pens from him. She then leaves and comes back and tells the fake story about Dodd beating her up. This is to tie up loose ends, since she wants Dodd to think that Teddy and Leonard were involved in the stolen money, and not her.
Fuck Leonard, Dodd beat the shit out of me.
Why?
This is quite a brilliant move, because if Leonard beats up Dodd, then Dodd will naturally assume that Leonard had to do with the botched drug deal and getting the blame removed from Natalie. But if he kills Dodd, then that cleans up the loose end of Dodd looking for Natalie. So either way, it's a win-win for Natalie. So next, Leonard leaves her house. And when he gets in the car, Teddy is already in the car. It was unlocked. Now, if the money was still there, you would think that means Teddy would have been able to grab the cash from the trunk. But this particular car is the 1997 Jaguar XK8, or X100, which has a trunk that is completely separate in terms of a lock from the rest of the car. There's no way to unlock it from inside the car. You need the same key as the ignition to unlock the trunk. So even if the money was still in the trunk, Teddy wouldn't have been able to access it. But I think Natalie had already moved it at this point. The next day, Leonard gets ambushed by Dodd. Leonard subdues Dodd and calls Teddy for help. They decide to make Dodd drive out of town at gunpoint.
Should probably steal his car. You know, teach him a lesson.
Shut up.
Yeah, it's right for you to say. You're the one with the...
I'm gonna ride with him. You follow us.
Give me a key.
Take your...
Again, here Teddy asks Leonard for the keys. He's still trying to access the Jaguar's trunk. And he says before and after that they should have stolen Dodd's cars, likely to get Leonard to switch cars. When Leonard returns to Natalie, her first comment is, "I guess I don't have to worry about that anymore."
Guess I don't have to worry about...
What the fuck?
After Leonard shows the Polaroid of Dodd tied up. But she does get very curious when Leonard talks about it and asks, "Did you kill him?"
I think someone's fucking with me, trying to get me to kill the wrong guy.
Did you?
What?
Kill him.
Now that the loose end of Jimmy's associates is tied up, we move to the second phase of Natalie's plan.
Has nothing... Lost somebody, too.
I'm sorry.
His name was Jimmy.
What happened to him?
He went to meet somebody. He never came back.
Who do you go to meet?
A guy called Teddy.
What do the police think?
They don't look too hard for guys like Jimmy. When you find this guy, this John G., what are you gonna do?
Natalie goes out of her way to help Leonard
Yeah.
by getting the license plate information that implicates Teddy as Leonard's next target. And later at the diner they meet up, and she gives the license plate information, which basically seals Teddy's fate. While it's true that Leonard ultimately chose Teddy as his next John G., the final scene with Natalie reveals something more subtle and far more telling. Natalie clearly recognized the person in the license photo.
I do have information for you. You gave me a license plate number. Had my friend at DMV trace it. Guess what name came up? John Edward Gamble. John G.
Do you know him?
No. But his face on his driver's license looked really familiar. I think he...
This was the same man, the supposed cop, who came to her bar asking questions about Leonard. So at the very least, she knowingly gives Leonard the idea of a man who she knows is law enforcement as his next target. But more likely, I think she put the whole story together. That this cop is Teddy, the same man who set up the drug deal with Jimmy. She may have even deduced that Teddy is manipulating Leonard in the same way that she is, and that Teddy got Leonard to kill Jimmy. From Natalie's perspective, Leonard is unstable, unpredictable, and very capable, as he demonstrated by handling Dodd. Sending him after Teddy would tie off a very dangerous loose end, and it would serve as poetic justice to use the same manipulation tactic that got Jimmy killed as a way to avenge Jimmy and kill Teddy. Furthermore, Teddy is also still looking for the missing money, and he's a cop, meaning he has resources to track her down if he ever suspected she had it. So this clears her of any future run-ins with him. She even redirects Leonard back to the drug deal site to close off all loose ends at the same place it started.
I added an address in here. It might be useful. It's an abandoned place outside of town. A guy I knew used to do bigger deals there. It's isolated.
Sounds perfect.
She even gives the keys back to Leonard and reminds him to go to the motel, the one that she knew Teddy was looking for Leonard at previously.
Oh, you still staying at the Discounted? Room 304? Left it at my place.
I think even this is a deliberate act to set the stage to have the two of them come to heads. She has this spiel about being survivors, and something about her smugness and attitude, it just doesn't match someone whose life is in danger and is mourning a lost loved one.
You know what we have in common? We are both survivors. You take care, Leonard.
Is that really the emotional response you would expect from someone who just lost their significant other? I don't think so. There has to be some reason she feels so content otherwise. At this point in the story, Leonard calls Teddy and they arrange a meeting. Teddy even tries one last time to confuse Leonard about which car is his to get the money, even though the money isn't even there anymore.
My car.
This is your car.
Oh, you're in a playful...
And if you think Teddy was only interested in getting the car to destroy evidence, why wouldn't he just try to destroy the Polaroids implicating him in the whole thing? I don't think he would really need to go out of his way to destroy a car.
It's broken.
I can get that fixed for you.
And of course, this leads to the infamous scene and Teddy's death. It's a fully closed-off investigation from a cop's point of view. And the funny thing is it even mirrors the story about Leonard's wife's murder. When you think about it, the parallel is quite crazy. There's 4 people, 2 dead, 1 person with a gunshot to their head and 1 suffocated, 1 without memory, and 1 who orchestrated the whole thing and planted evidence to ensure no one even thought they were involved. Of course, we never get an actual confirmation of any of this, and this is just my theory based on looking at all of the evidence and especially looking at the timeline in a chronological order. But I think it's a convincing narrative and really ties a knot on excellent writing and storytelling from Nolan's standpoint. And if you like the movie Memento and theories about it, you'd be shocked to know that every single Polaroid throughout the movie actually has very subtle changes, and even things like license plates change throughout the entire movie, and how this has significant implications for what the story means. Well, I'm going to break that down in my next video, so make sure you're subscribed for that one.